actually, the time I did that the first time that you just saw, I went back there and went, what have I done? What came over me? Who am I? It was wonderful. I loved every minute of it. But
have you ever thought you really know someone, only for them to reveal something that changes everything? Sally Field, the Oscar-winning actress, has shared a list of actors she didn't get along with behind the scenes. We're not talking about minor drama, but deep wounds she's carried for decades. At 78, she's ready to name names and spill the tea about her co-stars and lovers who left a mark on her. Her candid revelations will change how you view Hollywood and some of your favorite actors. Let's dive in. The Heartbreaker, Burt Reynolds. Their romance was tabloid gold. Sally Field and Burt Reynolds, the power couple of the late 70s. On screen, they were electric. Charming, playful, and irresistibly charismatic. Smokey and the Bandit became a cultural phenomenon, partly because their chemistry seemed so genuine. However, behind the scenes, the reality was far more unsettling. Sally described Burt as controlling, a man who thrived on dominance and dismissed anyone who threatened his spotlight, even her. He constantly belittled her, mocked her looks, questioned her intelligence, and undermined her acting ability in subtle yet cutting ways. He would offer backhanded compliments in interviews, only to return home to icy silences or passive-aggressive remarks. In her memoir, In Pieces, Sally exposed the glamorous Hollywood facade. She revealed that Burt wouldn't allow her to express herself freely. He would interrupt her mid-sentence and override her decisions, both professionally and personally. He wanted me next to him, smiling, silent, she wrote. I was a prized possession, something to be shown off, not someone to be cherished. Even more troubling, he manipulated her emotions. One moment he would be charming and affectionate, the next he would withhold love as punishment. Over time, her sense of self began to erode. Even at the height of my fame, I often felt invisible when standing beside him, she admitted. I never felt truly seen. I was there, but not me, not the full me. Despite the years they spent together, Sally later confessed she was never sure who the real Burt Reynolds was. The man the public adored was not the one who came home at night. Yet she tried her hardest to make the relationship work. I wanted to love him. I did love him. But he hurt me. To the world, he may have been the bandit, but to Sally, he was heartbreak in disguise. And he was only the beginning. The egomaniac, Tommy Lee Jones. On the set of Back Roads, Sally Field had high hopes for her role. The script was gritty and unique, giving her a chance to explore a deep character. She wanted to work together with everyone to create something special. However, she faced a wall of silence from her co-star, Tommy Lee Jones. From the start, Sally found him dismissive in both work and personal interactions. He hardly acknowledged her during rehearsals, made no small talk, and avoided the usual banter that helps build trust during a challenging shoot. He showed up, did his job, and left with no warmth or respect. For Sally, who built her career on deep emotional performances, this behavior was confusing. I wasn't just acting opposite a cold character, she said later. I was acting opposite a cold person. Co-stars are meant to support each other, but Tommy made her feel unwelcome. She tried to start conversations between takes, asked questions about their characters, and made light jokes to ease the tension. He wouldn't respond, and sometimes he wouldn't even look at her. He treated me as though I didn't belong on set with him, as if I were beneath him. When Back Roads was released, critics noted a lack of chemistry between the leads. The public didn't realize the problem was not the script, but the emotional distance between them. We were supposed to play two broken people learning to love, Sally said, but I was playing alone. Although she stayed professional during filming, she said the experience drained her. The set felt not just cold, but also isolating. For Sally, who thrives on connection, this emotional distance felt like sabotage. After Back Roads, she never worked with Tommy Lee Jones again. When she spoke about the experience later, she never lashed out, but her words had a subtle chill. She never forgot how cold a set could feel. The scene stealer, Robert Blake. During the production of Say Goodbye Maggie Cole, Sally Field encountered one of the most unpredictable actors in the industry, Robert Blake. Renowned for his intense method acting and erratic behavioral patterns, Blake infused volatility not only into his performances but into the entire production environment. From the outset, Field grappled with establishing a coherent rhythm given Blake's propensity for improvisation. He frequently altered dialogue without prior notice, veered off script, and disrupted meticulously orchestrated takes with unscripted actions. What Blake considered creative spontaneity was perceived by Field as chaotic disarray. She accused him of consistently undermining her both in front of the camera and in private interactions. His disruptive conduct extended beyond interactions with Field. Crew members witnessed his frequent outbursts, verbal tirades, and abrupt mood swings, fostering a hostile atmosphere for all involved. On some days, Blake was quiet and concentrated, while on others, he erupted in anger toward a lighting technician or abruptly left the set over trivial disputes. Field, already under the stress of a demanding role, found herself in the position of mediator, attempting to maintain cohesion within the production. However, her efforts proved futile. The pervasive tension seeped into every scene, resulting in irreparable cracks in the project's foundation. Ultimately, the film was abandoned, never making it to the screen, a casualty of on-set dysfunction that escalated beyond control. For many actors, this might represent a professional misstep. For Field, however, it was a profoundly impactful experience. She later articulated her feelings, describing the situation not merely as disappointing, but as traumatic. Her poignant observation, "There are actors who act, and there are actors who try to make everyone else small so they feel big." Blake was the second kind, encapsulates the deep personal implications of the encounter. This experience reinforced her resolve. She would no longer accept chaos masquerading as artistic brilliance. The bitter rival, Shirley MacLaine. In Steel Magnolias, Sally Field and Shirley MacLaine captured audiences with their performances. But behind the scenes, the atmosphere was anything but harmonious. Sally immersed herself in her role as Malin, a grieving mother, striving for emotional authenticity. In contrast, Shirley treated the set like a stage for dominance, turning each scene into a power struggle. Whispers among the crew revealed how Shirley often hijacked moments, boasting about her Oscar wins and injecting humor where it didn't belong, undermining Sally's heartfelt performance. Despite her frustrations, Sally kept her composure, though the emotional toll was heavy. Years later, Sally would reflect on their tumultuous dynamic, noting that Shirley brought a cloud of chaos wherever she went. It wasn't just a clash of styles, it was a battle of egos. While audiences were moved by Malin's poignant monologue, Sally knew the real struggle lay off camera, a painful reminder of the true cost of conflicting creative visions. The Manipulator, James Caan. Their journey on Kiss Me Goodbye began with the expectation of lighthearted fun, a quirky romantic comedy meant to charm audiences. But from the start, Sally Field felt an unsettling energy, all thanks to James Woods. Known for his brilliance and intensity, Woods turned playful scenes into high-stakes psychological battles. He didn't merely deliver lines, he dissected them, challenged the director, and often rewrote dialogue on the spot, making rehearsals a fierce struggle. Sally, an emotionally honest performer, found herself overwhelmed by Woods' intellectually intimidating presence. The atmosphere on set was electric with tension as he critiqued everything, including her performance, leading to stifled creativity. What cut even deeper were his off-camera remarks suggesting she wasn't giving enough. To Sally, it felt less like constructive criticism and more like sabotage. "He wasn't pushing me to be better," she later recalled. "He was trying to make me feel smaller." Exhausted but resolute, she emerged transformed, vowing never again to be silenced by a man who mistook condescension for brilliance. This experience ignited a fierce determination within her, ready to face whatever came next. The unexpected villain, Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman is celebrated as a legendary actor, renowned for his Oscar-winning performances and critical acclaim. However, for Sally Field, he represents a painful disappointment. Their paths almost crossed during auditions in the early 1980s for a now-forgotten project, which turned into one of Sally's most humiliating experiences. During the chemistry read, Hoffman dominated the room even before she arrived, cracking jokes with producers and making pointed comments about the script. When it was Sally's turn, he interrupted her repeatedly, offering criticism rather than collaboration. She felt like she was auditioning for a man who'd already decided you weren't enough. The sting deepened when she later learned that Hoffman bragged about sabotaging the audition, claiming he'd made sure the chemistry wasn't there. Sally spent weeks questioning her abilities, but eventually realized the issue lay in Hoffman's need for control. She labeled that moment as one of the most humiliating of her career, and it transformed her outlook. From then on, she vowed to never work with men who mistook arrogance for genius, and she upheld that promise, forever changed by the experience.